Welcome back to Demigod Debut. I'm Mal, always a Clarice apologist and longtime Percy Jackson fan.
And I'm Julie, Percy Jackson newbie, and I can't believe Mallory made me watch this movie.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. And this is a podcast in which Julie got to experience the joy of the Sea of Monsters movie for the first time. A true rite of passage on her journey to consume all Percy Jackson related media for the first time.
Okay, all?
Well, as much as I can convince you to read.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Listen, you're still going, so maybe not all. On her journey to consume a lot of Percy Jackson and its related media.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are joined this week by Camille, aka at Perseus Jackson on various social medias, and also other various accounts, but I feel that's the most relevant one to this podcast. Hello, Camille.
Hi, guys.
And what a film.
Yeah, that's a sigh of defeat.
What a film we have gathered here to discuss. A piece of cinema history, if you will.
That was a movie.
Sure was.
That was a movie that someone decided to make.
I was watching it with a friend, and
Oh god, you subjected more people to this.
I was watching it with a friend, and when the credits came up and it was like screenplay by Marc Guggenheim, the friend I was watching it with just went, "You really fucked it, Mark. You did not make a good movie."
Guggenheim? Well, that's how he got the job.
Yeah.
Nepotism higher.
But she was also like, "It's a shame you like put your name on this movie because that was not a really good movie."
Maybe his name isn't Guggenheim and he's just like, blame the Guggenheim.
Might as well. Well, and like, I remember this movie being bad. I remember this movie being really bad. And I felt like I was being gaslit for the first part because it like wasn't as bad as I had remembered initially.
Yes.
Because I think, you know, you go into this movie having already seen the first one and having this like baseline for like, this is how not book accurate this is going to be. And I felt like the beginning really matched that baseline, and then it just like went off the rails. So
psych.
Like, a lot of the beginning is just like, yeah, this is someone poorly adapting Percy Jackson. And then by the end, I was like, have you written a story in any form at all ever?
Can you imagine taking someone's intellectual property and being like, I can do it better if I just change everything? Like, what cojones did you walk in the room with, my friend?
It's also like, and we'll get to this later, but there's like such random, like, completely book accurate things and like Easter eggs for fans, and I'm like, why?
Right? Yeah.
Why?
They're like, we got you, kids, and I'm like, no, you don't. But
you really don't. You don't got us.
No, wouldn't trust you in a trust vault, but nice try.
All right, so I kind of split it up into 10 major like things that happen, especially because in the second half I stopped being able to take notes. Like, I was just like,
oh yeah,
what? I'm watching something.
Something's on my TV.
So like most of my stuff is in regards to the things that happen at camp. Okay, so the movie opens. You get like the title card thing, and it says Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. Where's the and the? It's just Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters.
So we're off to a great start, friends.
I don't know why we arrived at that title, but okay. Is the first one that way, and I just didn't notice that it's like Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief? Hold on.
I'm like, are you asking me to go watch that? Because the answer is no.
No. Okay, the first one is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. So
nice job, Mark.
So what happened with the second one? Just Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. Like, your title is not even consistent with the first movie you made.
This is like the Twilight movies and how they change directors and artistic style and color every time.
Oh, yes.
You know that the Twilight movies, it's like the first one is like blue and the second one is like warm tones. And then we went dark.
Yeah, but that's just kind of a style thing. This is like fundamentally changing the text. Like, this is crazy. All right, so our film opens with like a flashback of...
I don't claim that. Sorry. Just want to say. No.
Wait, you don't claim what?
Our film? No.
Okay, this film. We get like a flashback of Grover and Thalia and Luke and Annabeth arriving to camp. And so, first of all, Percy's like, 4 children of the gods were headed to camp, the only safe place for us. So, like, we're counting Grover in the 4? Okay. I mean, the musical does that too a little bit, so I'm like, I'm willing to forgive that. But then everyone in this flashback is the same age. When they're like famously not that. I was like, why is Annabeth like the same age as Thalia and Luke? Okay. Thalia also has the dumbest little knife. It's like, and I guess I shouldn't call it a little knife because it's like a very long knife, but it's also not a sword. And I was like, what is she fighting with?
I don't know.
And then she transforms into a tree and like she's just like staring up at the sky the whole time and it's like kind of creepy.
Terrifying, honestly.
And also, this did make me question, like, is it canon in the books, too, that, like, Thalia is the only protection that camp has? Like, I know when they poison the tree in the books, it, like, affects the border. But the movie really makes it seem that, like, there was no sort of border, no sort of protection at all until Thalia's tree. And I'm like, is that true? Did that happen in the books, too?
No, as someone whose favorite book is Sea of Monsters, I can confirm no. This is why it's a great choice to have me on for this one. This is my favorite book, so I'm in here like, oh my god.
Oh god, look how they massacred your boy.
My boy! Oh god! Massacred. Ate him.
Well, yes, but we'll get to that.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
Oh lord.
Anyone else have any thoughts on our little like flashback scene?
Oh yeah, no. My note was I love that Annabeth, like baby Annabeth, is blonde. So like she just went through a dark hair phase.
Yeah.
Who supplied the hair dye? She was in with the Aphrodite cabin to get some hair dye.
Yeah. And like Annabeth being blonde in this movie feels like, yeah, they did take feedback from the audience who saw the first movie and were kind of angry. They were like, okay, alright, we'll make Annabeth blonde. And they like did not do a good job of it. Like she looks really creepy.
They look so bad.
Alexandra Daddario is so hot. Like that is an objectively attractive woman. And something about her blonde in this movie is like off-putting.
Doesn't work.
Unsettling.
And it may just be that like she can't rock blonde hair because I did Google like Alexandra Daddario blonde to try to see if there's like any pictures of her like rocking blonde hair. And there's really not.
That's not her shade.
There's some red carpet pictures where like she looks fine, but like dark hair is for her.
I think it's just that like she is so smoke show with like a dark waterline, like a tight line waterline. And so to have that and then it's not even blonde, it's just like super like just highlight to heck blonde. And that is just like you do her a disservice to not cater it to her. I think they kind of went into it like, oh, blonde, we could do it this way. And I'm like, yeah, but you could do it in a way that really suits her.
She's also got a dumb little like side braid going on the whole movie. Like just they did her dirty. And also like in the grand scheme of things, the hair color doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like this is a conversation that I think we have every single time there's an adaptation. Like you've already committed to brunette Annabeth. It's fine. Stick with it. You don't have to like try to change her appearance for the second movie. Like you've already done this. All right, so I guess we gotta get into the like 2013 realness that is them trying to climb to the top of this tower.
Light 'em up, up.
Yes,
light 'em up,
to the tune of Light 'em Up. Number one, what is the point of this training exercise? You're climbing a tower? Okay.
Dunking on Percy.
But we do, however, get introduced to Stanley Tucci as Dionysus. This is inspired casting. Like, honestly, the movie was worth making for that alone, to me. And Julie did text me. She was like, I'm sorry, Stanley Tucci? Dionysus?
I was like staring at him for a second and I was like, that can't be. And then I heard him talk and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, because he's got hair.
Honestly, that's it. Like, every movie I've seen with Stanley Tucci, except for like one, no hair.
And gay, usually.
What a guy.
Presumably.
Now, I will say the characterization of Dionysus, I think that these actors try so hard with what they're given. Like, as I got nearer to the end of the movie, I just kept thinking, like, these are not bad actors. It's a bad script,
Oh, yeah.
and it makes the actors look bad.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think any of them came in like, it's a paycheck, I'll just flub it, you know?
Yeah, they're, like, committing to what was written, but what was written is bad. I do love the bit, though, where every time he tries to pour wine, it just, like, turns to water.
Great. The best special effects in the movie.
And the way he's like, the Christians have a guy who can do this in reverse. Now there's a God. Like, it's a great line. It's amazing.
My main concern immediately was that Percy is too cool. He's too cool. And Annabeth is too worried.
Yes. But Percy's, like, too cool, but then is also worried that he's, like, not cool and is not doing enough. I also think, I'm sorry. So Percy, like, loses the competition to the top of this tower because someone falls off and is, like, getting drugged by some, like, rope ladder around. And Percy, like, goes to help him. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Percy would not do that. Like, in a game, he would look at someone whose life is not in danger and he'd be like, sucks for you. I gotta beat Clarice. Like, you're trying to establish that, like, Percy's a good guy. Like, he's a hero. It just came off as lame. Percy wouldn't do that. But, you know, we also have to establish that Clarice is cool as hell. And you know what? In this movie, she is.
Percy has to be self-sacrificing. And I'm like, Percy's like, well, I was going to say Percy's 13.
Well,
never mind. Sorry. He's not.
Percy is some age that is not quite 20.
Percy's legal or something. I don't know. And
he's like
it's just it's oh god, it's so wrong.
Yeah.
It's all so wrong. And again, the characterization, we're just wrong from the bat. Percy is too cool. Annabeth is way too worried about Percy.
Oh my god.
She'd be like, what are you doing? Come on.
Well, and she does a lot of, like, very wistful, like, good luck, Percy. Like, ah, Percy! And I'm just like, that's not Annabeth.
And she, like, runs up to him and she's out of breath. And I'm like, why are you out of breath? You've been standing there. And Grover, I'm not even gonna talk about it yet because I'm so mad.
Speaking of Grover,
no.
Well, I'm not gonna get into the characterization of Grover. The next thing that I wanted to address is that, like, immediately after this tower climbing activity, when Percy has lost and he's, like, sitting down, Grover's like, oh, well, you know, you've done great things after you saved the world. Like, you found Ares' chariot. You did the Bronze Dragon quest, which, like, okay, obviously this is Easter eggs for, like, the short stories in the Demigod Files for the fans. Great. But now we're giving credit to Clarice for both of these things. Like, okay, sure, we can give Clarice credit for the chariot, even though Percy was there and helped her, because I think Percy would be okay with Clarice getting the credit for that one. But the Bronze Dragon, what about my friends Selena and Beckendorf? And then also, this is the moment that I realized in the movie, I was like, wait, why is Grover even here? Grover's not supposed to be here. Grover's supposed to be off in a Cyclops cave.
I knew something was wrong.
Wait a second. This is not how the story goes.
Well, I'd also like to point out that we're on Chiron number 2. Shout out to all my Merlin fans. No Uther Pendragon when they see him.
Are we? I couldn't even remember who was Chiron in the first one.
Pierce Brosnan, baby.
Yes. I forgot about that. Oh my god, I forgot we switched Chirons.
Yeah, we did. All horses look the same to Mal. That's fine.
Yeah. I don't see color. You can be a white horse or a black horse. It's fine.
3. I don't see legs. 4. 3. You know, one of the things that haunts me is thinking about how Chiron has 6, like, limbs.
So he's technically an insect, yeah.
Oh, you made it worse. Oh, no.
Except I think, like, scientifically to be an insect, you also have to have antenna, and he doesn't, as far as we know.
I was going to say, as far as we know.
I'm going to be honest, as soon as this episode is over, I will be trying to erase this movie from my memory forever.
Same, bestie.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I've loved Percy Jackson for more than half my life now. I've seen this movie 3 times. That's it.
I'm really honored that you watched it a 3rd time for us.
Well, I'm going to kill myself later, so no,
sorry.
sorry.
Thank you for your sacrifice and service.
Okay, so our next kind of major thing is the introduction of Tyson, which is sort of started by a very angsty Percy talking to the lake scene, where he's just like, just being angsty about like not being good enough to be a son of Poseidon, and yeah. And then as he like leaves, there's like a ripple in the lake, like showing that his dad heard him, and I'm like, okay. And one of the things he says during this, he says, maybe I only saved Olympus because I had Annabeth and Grover helping. But like, yeah, that's what a quest is. It's about teamwork. Like, they also only saved Olympus because they had you. Like, that doesn't make it less of an achievement. And then Tyson just turns up, and we have no dramatic claiming publicly. He just kind of turns up in, I guess, Mr. D's office, I guess is what that room was. I do appreciate that he's just an absolute menace to Mr. D, like touching all his wine bottles, and that feels very Tyson to me. But I don't know, I feel like you sort of take something away from this relationship when you don't have Percy coming into camp with Tyson, already knowing Tyson, and not knowing that he's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Because the very, like, complex feelings that he has about it are, like, what makes it good.
Well, he has complex feelings about him, but he likes him.
Yes.
Despite that, before he finds out they're brothers, then he's like, I'm supposed to be an only child.
Yeah.
And so, like, congrats, Percy, you're not so special.
Well, and it's also I'm not an only child, but also the fact Poseidon has claimed this guy that everyone else looks at as like a monster, and like he and I are friends.
Ocularly impaired.
Oh my god! Every time they said ocularly impaired, I wanted to turn the movie off.
I was like, are you making just like a joke of, oh god, it frustrated me so bad.
Yeah.
Like, is this a PC joke? Who is this for?
Right.
Certainly not for the Percy fan.
Yeah, no, it didn't make any sense. I also felt like with Tyson, there were times that like he felt like Tyson, and then there were times that he was just some guy.
Yes, that was not my boy Tyson.
No, there were like a couple of times that Tyson kind of shone through, and I was like, oh, there's Tyson, and then it was like, no, that's just a guy.
The hair.
Yes.
Incredibly offensive. Just saying. I'm like, okay, are we associating dreads with like
monstrosity, and yeah.
We know that Tyson is homeless, he's lived in the woods and blah blah blah, and yeah, and so my brain is just like yikes. I'm scared.
Yeah. It's not great. But also, it was 2013, so I guess we can just be grateful it wasn't worse.
The bar is in Tartarus.
So then we get attacked by bulls. Gotta say, the bulls, so cool. They look so cool. But honestly, it took me out. Like, everyone's going to fight these bulls, which also, there's like a lot of thundering and people just kind of looking around like, what? What? I feel like if you are at this camp, you feel thundering, you're like, something's coming, I'm weaponing up. Like, you don't need...
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, it was a very delayed reaction to me.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I thought you guys were literally here training for this. That's my bad.
And then they all, like, get up, and one guy is still sitting there, and they're like, hey, Chris, are you coming? And he's like, nah, I'm good. What?
Chris!
Like, I just...
God damn it, Rodriguez!
I don't really even know.
Hey, something's not right with this
like,
kid.
You're trying to, like, tease that this guy is evil? Okay.
Oh.
Because, like, I guarantee you, not all these campers need to be going to fight the bulls. Some of them should have been like, hey, why aren't you joining us? And some of them should have been fighting Chris. Thank you.
We have multiple issues where, one, we have Annabeth falls down and can't stand up without Percy's help, even though she's totally fine. Percy! And she needs his help to get up. There's also a moment of Clarice, I believe it's Clarice, like cowering. Why do we see this so many times in media? Women cowering, like scrambling back up against something with their knees up, like, oh no. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, but Percy also kind of does that. He does kind of cower up against the wall.
He does, but he's like, here's my sword, okay, go, I'll roll out of the way. And these girls are just like, oh no. And I'm like, Percy, save them.
I will say, speaking of the sword, the Riptide transformation kind of rocks. Like, it's very cool.
Yeah, shout out to, like, the art department. Yeah, they did a great job.
Yeah, I enjoy the way that it, like, and, like,
Optimus
assembles
Prime?
itself. Yeah. And I think that Percy, like, clicking Riptide and throwing it into the bowl and, like, letting it transform into, very Percy move. Like, that was great. That was in character. I have no notes. That was banger.
It's very FAFO of Percy. It's absolutely something he would just be like, I don't know what this is gonna do. Whee!
It's like just a very thinking on your feet kind of improvisation Percy move, which I appreciated. And then all of a sudden Luke is there, and he menacingly puts a bottle into his pocket because we have to know that Luke is up to something. And he hits us with the line, "Next time you try to drown someone, make sure he's not a demigod who can swim."
Okay, but like honestly, go off.
Also, like, why is he here? How did he get into camp with nobody seeing him? And why is it just now that he's poisoning the tree? Like, we're doing things in such a weird order, because in the book, like, the tree being poisoned and that being like a thing that we discover when we get to camp.
Even Sally knows it before Percy does.
And also, like, Chiron is not supposed to still be at camp. Because Chiron is supposed to have gotten kicked out because Zeus is upset that he let the tree get poisoned and that he couldn't cure it. Like,
supposed to be chasing donuts, Tantalus.
Yeah, we're supposed to have Tantalus. And that's something that I could overlook, in terms of like we have to take this 300-page book and we have to turn it into a 2-hour movie. Okay, sure, you're going to lose some things. You might lose Tantalus.
Like, bro, this is the shortest book. You could have had it.
It's not those little changes that are what's the problem, Like, even though they're the things that I keep bringing up, I'm like, that's not what makes it wrong.
My thought when I saw Luke, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, this Luke is so old that he's just an incel.
Oh, no.
Kind of gives incel vibes.
A little bit, yeah.
And, like, for those who don't know me, hi, I'm Camille. I have been known to have a license plate frame on my car that says Luke Castellan Apologist. I am a Luke Castellan apologist. I will fight to the death for respect on Luke's name. Okay?
Well, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have invited you here.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Bye, guys. It's been fun, and I'm done. Bye.
Anyway, the order of things is not what makes this movie bad. Those are, like, interesting changes. TLDR, I guess, is what I was trying to say. All right, so then we get kind of our main quest here. And, oh, dear God, in her research, why is Annabeth using an iPad?
I had the same note. It's like, as if.
Well, and I'm like, there's literally no reason either. Like, she could open up a book and she could show us these same graphics in a book. Why is it an iPad?
They're trying to be all techy and cool.
Okay.
They have Olympian funding.
It's kind of like when in the first movie he, like, goes into Luke's cabin and Luke has, like, a gaming setup and he's playing, like, Call of Duty or whatever. Yeah.
Trying to be relatable to the kid.
Yeah. They're trying to euthanize this place.
Euthanize with a Y.
Can I ask a question? Why do you think the makeup department was like, you know what Chiron needs? Eyeliner.
That's an important question to ask.
Like, what? What? Who? Why? When? Where? What?
Chiron's a little fruity with it. It's Pride Month.
Listen, 100 years is a long time for Mr. D to be banished to the camp, and them not.
They explored each other's bodies.
The only 2 adults around, I mean.
Just because he can't have aged grapes doesn't mean he doesn't get to be a little fruity. Okay. You can't silent laugh, then the people don't know my joke isn't landing. Or that it is.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I expected the vibes of this episode to be, but, like, this feels correct. Like,
I was like, is this better?
Because, like, you could either be really sad about this movie or you can laugh until you cry. Either way, there will be tears, but...
Okay, I talked to Becky Riordan once because I had sent her a photo because it, like, popped up in my memories of my family and I getting ready to go see Sea of Monsters. she said, I believe she had said that she and Haley went to see it, and they were sitting behind in the movie theater, like this older woman and like grandchildren or something, and she was just saying that like they had felt so bad for these people because they just knew like after watching that it was disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember exactly what she said. It was a while ago, but she was like, we just felt so bad. Like,
Yeah.
it just wasn't, yeah.
Aw,
I know. And I was like, notably, Rick was not there.
Yeah.
not his fault.
I wouldn't be surprised if Rick has never seen this movie.
He's like, I'm actually going to stay home and stub my toe 17 times on the coffee table, but thanks
And
for the
that
invite.
will be a better time than this movie. And I mean, like, I know people whose introduction to Percy Jackson were these movies. So, like, I think there is a place for these movies, but oh, is your introduction?
Listeners, I have my hand up. Oh, I'm sorry. I was so in love with Logan Lerman, and I read as soon as he got cast, I read all the Percy Jackson books, and then the movies came out, and I was like, oh no. But I loved him from like Hoot.
Yes, Hoot was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but see, that wasn't you went and saw the movies and then
No. I had consumed.
You were like, I need to read the books.
Right. No, I had consumed the books first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you still had the experience of leaving that theater like
in tears.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's the worst.
Yeah. Uh-huh. But when we move on to this prophecy and quest bit, I just want to say, like, to intro us to this portion, Percy Jackson, I swear to God, if you forget to carry Madame Zeroni up the mountain, this woman is the best part of this movie. Yzma, Madame Zeroni, the Oracle of Delphi, Queen. If you're wondering why you recognize her voice, it's because it's one, Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove, and two, Madame Zeroni from Holes. So clearly Percy has forgotten to carry Madame Zeroni up.
I didn't clock that.
That's fine.
But
you didn't? Oh, that's
no.
a voice I will never not recognize, baby. Oh.
I was too distracted by just, like,
the inaccuracy?
The horrors that I was experiencing. So, like, number one, this is book 2. Why is Percy going to the attic to get the Great Prophecy? Right? And then he gets, like, this nice stained glass, like, history lesson, which visually was, like, very nice, but as if the Oracle would ever give you, like, useful and relevant information. Like,
I'm like, the information that she's giving you is what Chiron is supposed to be teaching you, but, like, go off, queen.
Yeah.
Women are more reliable anyway, it's fine.
And then you get, like, it begins when 2 cousins grapple for fleece, the son of the sea, and the lightning thief thing. And I'm like, a prophecy would never be that explicit. It would never tell you exactly when it's going to start.
And his middle name was, just in case you're confused, his date of birth is...
Oh my gosh. And the prophecy itself is still the same, except for it's reach 20 against all odds instead of, like, reach 16, which I don't necessarily hate. That's fine. That's a change that I'm like, yeah, okay, because Logan Lerman is very clearly older than 16, so that's fine. And then he, like, comes and he tells Chiron about, the prophecy he has just received. And apparently he was able to ask follow-up questions to the Oracle, because when he recites it, he's like, that's raised with a Z,
I asked.
Meaning to destroy. I asked. And I'm like,
oh, she's so helpful.
Why was the Oracle, like, giving you all this extra information? Oh my god. And then Chiron is like, well, this prophecy can only apply to you. Like,
okay,
no,
but...
never at any point in the books does Chiron say that.
Okay, no, he doesn't, but Chiron is often misinterpreting prophecies.
Yes.
Chiron is often being like, this is the facts! And we're like, it's not, but go off, I guess. It's fine.
Okay, that's very true. It's very true.
But he doesn't usually, like, say it with his whole chest.
He's typically, like, more cryptic about it. Like, he's...
keeper of the plot.
In all the time of, like, the Great Prophecy, like, before they even tell Percy about it, like, because Annabeth in this book does tell him that there's, like, this prophecy that, like, the next time a child of the Big 3 reaches 16, like, bad things are gonna happen. And so even after he, like, when he talks to Chiron about it, Chiron is like, well, you know, you have a long time until you reach 16, and like, it may not be you. You know, prophecies also don't always mean what they think they, like, he's always just like real slimy about it, you know? And so for him to just be like, well, it has to be you. No. No. And then we also, like, kind of at the same time as Percy's getting this prophecy, we also have Annabeth working out that they need to go find the Golden Fleece and talking to Mr. D about, like, trying to get a quest. And Mr. D says, like, oh, well, every satyr who's gone after the fleece has died. Yes, because they were looking for Pan and they got stuck in a Cyclops cave. Like, we don't have Grover's whole Pan plotline, and that makes me so sad.
I have not talked a lot about Grover and the characterization of Grover just because I get so upset. But that's because if I take a quiz that's like, what Percy Jackson character? Yeah, it's gonna be Grover. Okay. I'm so emotional. I'm so empathetic. I'm incredibly loyal to my friends. Like, I will do anything to make sure my friends succeed. I am Grover. I also struggle with the insecurity of being the funny friend. And so to see him turned into the funny friend and the sexual scapegoat,
but also, yeah, taking away all of his, like,
his nuance. Yeah.
And yeah.
It's insulting. It makes me, and Mal, I texted you over the weekend about this because I don't remember the name of the actor. I'm so sorry. Respect on your name. But, like, I saw a video of him and Aryan Simhadri, and I was like, keep that man away from children. Because, like, the characterization of Grover, I'm like, keep it away from children.
And keep it away from the child who is currently playing Grover, because his Grover is great, and we don't need any of this Grover making its way to the TV show.
Exactly that.
Okay, something I did enjoy, the way that when Mr. D goes and, like, tells the camp that, like, I've decided my idea to save the camp. We need this quest. We need to go find the fleece. And he's, like, reading off of his hand the bits of the important information. Hilarious. I loved that.
That's amazing because I hated it.
Really? I thought it was funny.
It's funny, but also, like, you're telling me that Mr. D can't remember details about the Golden Fleece? Like, be so for real right now.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. But see, I kind of believe that Mr. D is just kind of putting on this act of incompetence because he thinks it's funny.
Correct, but also, oh, he's got weaponized incompetence.
All right. Any other thoughts on the, like, things at camp before we get out of here? Go on a quest? Oh, I guess we should say Clarice is the one who gets the quest, same as in the book. And she, like, takes another satyr with her to go find the...
A caked up one. Well, not caked up, but, like, he's like, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
That is a mountain goat.
Yes, he's very large.
Like a goat.
So then we get to what is probably the most book accurate scene in this movie, but it's in the wrong place. They get in the Grey Sisters cab, right? Oh, but first, we gotta talk about the spray on mist, because what in the world?
They were like, don't worry, we know we forgot and omitted like a million things in the first movie because we thought we could get away with it. And then we got a second movie, so we had to retcon and figure out how to work these things in. So guess what? It's a little perfume.
Well, and like it's just like, hey, we're not gonna CGI this guy's face the entire movie, so like spray on mist.
My note literally says, I like the cheap escape from needing CGI.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Grover likes Cyclopes now, so that's fine.
Yeah, the way he's like, oh, because Annabeth is like, I'm not traveling with one, you know, same as she does in the book. And then Grover's like, well, I'm not traveling without one. Like, if we're gonna go face a Cyclops, we need our own. Like, okay.
Go off, progressive Grover.
But also, Grover, you're not even supposed to be here. Like, we're supposed to be rescuing you, King.
And then he goes, we should go to Florida. I'm like, whoa, what? Oh, God. So bad.
Oh, no. It's just, oh, my God. Also, at some point, one of them, and I didn't write down which one it was, but I remember it, like, jarred me. One of them calls Annabeth Annie, and I'm like, that's wrong. No. She is unnicknameable. You cannot give her a nickname.
I think the only acceptable nickname is AB.
Ooh.
I'm kind of surprised no one's ever called her AB because, like, in my notes, shorthand, I've always just done AB.
I mean, I kind of like AB because then her last name starts with a C, so she could be ABC. Okay, so back to our most book accurate scene, the cab. Like, I mean, in the book they take it to camp, so we've like taken the cab and put it somewhere else. But again, I don't really hate the doing things out of order, like to streamline the process for this movie. But the thing that gets me is they have the like safety video from Ganymede where he's like, "Hey, it's Ganymede, cupbearer to Zeus. Like when I'm flying around the sky, I always remember to buckle up," or whatever it is exactly that he says. But that is like straight from the pages of the Sea of Monsters, and I'm just like, why?
Except for the fact that after the characterization of Ganymede in Chalice of the Gods, I just know that Ganymede is not showing enough thigh.
Ganymede needs to be a little sluttier, thank you.
That man is queer.
Yeah, for sure. Also, everything about the cap, like the Grey Sisters, I think are pretty good. Using the eyeball as like collateral to get information, also good. Getting the coordinates. Like, I have no gripes about the cab scene.
I love that Percy's like holding the slimy eyeball. Like in the book, he's like, "Tell me the truth."
It's like I have an eye in my hand.
I won't give it back.
Yeah, the only part that I'm like, this is a little egregious is when they just like split the cab in half. I'm like, that you didn't need to do that, but okay. So then the cab like takes them to DC and they go to a Siren Coffee.
Before you go there, can we just say I'm so struck by the fact that they just decided to make Tyson stupid.
Yeah.
He's not stupid. He's a baby. They got it wrong.
But he's a baby who's survived.
Yeah, he's a baby who was living on the streets
and so I'm
for
like,
a while.
he's not stupid.
Right.
He's like, "Oh, Zeus.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I didn't love that. Yeah, but so instead of going to Monster Donut, which is iconic and fun, we go to Siren Coffee.
As a former Starbucks barista, by the way, Starbucks is not a mermaid. She is the siren. That is, the logo is a siren. It's not a mermaid, it's a siren. This is a play off of Starbucks.
And Grover's like, you gotta get extra nectar. And if you haven't had it, you haven't lived. And I do think it is kind of cute that when Tyson like takes a sip, he's like, I've lived. Like, that was kind of cute, but also I'm like, why? Why are we doing this?
There are lines where he's like funny.
Yes.
Like little ones, like here and there.
And then we have Grover just straight up get kidnapped by Chris Rodriguez.
Beefy Chris, by the way.
Oh my gosh. These are films for sure. These are movies.
You know what? Before we started recording, listeners, Mal said they left a mark on cinema. And I said, skid mark. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, yeah. And I love how Julie is just kind of laughing at us because Julie doesn't want to think about this movie any more than she has to.
I really don't. And the thing is, I watched part of it twice because I put it on last night and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this, and I fell asleep 20 minutes in, and then I woke up and I was like, damn it, I have to watch this movie again because I fell asleep.
Oh no.
I was like dreading it the whole day. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I barely remember what happened in the 20 minutes I did see. So I was like, okay, here we go. It's almost 2 hours of my life I won't go back.
I started watching it this morning while I was at work, and it made me so mad that I had to stop watching because it was affecting my work.
So I guess our next major thing that happens, we get Hermes. We find him in just like a random UPS store. I don't hate Nathan Fillion as Hermes. I think that's fine.
I'm gonna shut up because I'll just sit here and be like, wrong.
Okay. That's fine. You can disagree. I don't know. I'm like, I have to find some things that I'm like, this isn't as bad as it could be. Otherwise, the movie's just unwatchable. But
well,
the movie's pretty much unwatchable. Like, it's unwatchable. We get George and Martha, but they're incorrect. Neither of them asks for rats.
He says he eats them.
He says he eats mice.
Oh, mice. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
There's a difference.
Yeah, mice.
But also, those tiny little snakes couldn't eat a rat.
I have to say something as, like, the resident, like, bougie friend. He says that his tie is Hermes. Hermes! It's just God.
He's like mispronouncing his own name because it's spelled like Hermes, the brand.
With an accent. So, it's Hermes, but thanks. He does not deserve a Birkin. Anyway.
So true. Also, at one point, Hermes says that Luke holds a grudge like his mother. What?
She's not even in her right mind enough to hold a grudge.
She would be valid, though, I think. She would be valid.
No, she would
Oh,
be.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. I just like, what does he mean by that? What does he mean by he holds a grudge like his mother?
Where do you think, like when you hear these things, don't you just sit here and think, what the hell were they thinking for movie 3?
Yeah.
Like, where were they going with this?
Like, there are some things that make me think that they knew that there wasn't going to be a movie 3, so they had to, like, reach some conclusion, and they reached a real weird one.
Okay, so here's one thing that I just, like, find completely unforgivable. Like, I get it, haha, at the time, big Tumblr, blah, 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 people loved Firefly, blah, blah, blah. Why are we having Nathan Fillion make meta jokes about his other creative like, about Firefly in a Percy Jackson movie?
He did?
When he's talking about, like all good shows, canceled.
Oh, okay.
Why are we doing this? That, to me, I'm like, creatively, that's unforgivable. That's unforgivable. Like, I'm sorry, I'm never, like, no.
Yeah.
No. Separation of church and state. Come on.
It's so interesting to me because I think, obviously, in making these, like, movie adaptations, there's really no way around it, like, things desiring to be the next Harry Potter. Because, like, obviously, Harry Potter was this, like, massively successful book franchise and then turned into, like, massively successful movie adaptations. Because, like, yeah, for the most part, they are very good book to movie adaptations. And so I feel like Percy Jackson, kind of coming on the tails of Harry Potter, you know, most of its existence has kind of had this, like, it's the next Harry Potter sort of label. And so I almost wonder if in making this movie, they were trying to get away from that. And so they then, like, ignored everything that made Harry Potter successful. And they were like, we're going to do our own thing. And then they also, like, ignored everything that made the original Percy Jackson books successful. So it was just like, I don't know what they were thinking.
It was all the wrong things from both of them.
I would love to know what they were thinking. If they were thinking at all. Also, when Hermes starts to give them magic items, he, like, hands Annabeth the thermos, and she immediately goes to take the cap off. That's such a Percy move. Why is Annabeth doing it?
Why is Annabeth doing it? And also, it's probably, like, the funniest moment of the entire movie is his reaction. Hermes going, wow, no! Like, that is, like, the funniest.
I wouldn't say that's the funniest moment of the movie. There is a moment that I laughed so hard I cried.
Oh, God.
But I guess, okay, that's the, like, most intentionally funny moment, I think. Also, the tape that, like, makes things in it vanish rocks. That's great.
Oh, okay.
You don't like that item? I just think it's a cool item.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm like, why do we have, like, super fun random magic items?
I don't know. I think it's fun. It's to get them out of the brig on the yacht. Because Hermes can't give them the vitamins if they're not going to Cersei's island, you know? So he's got to give them something else. He's not just going to give them the wind. I get that the point of the, like, magic items in the Sea of Monsters are that they're, like, modernized versions of the things that, like, Odysseus gets in the Odyssey, because, like, we're doing the Odyssey. So, like, to just have the random tape is kind of destroying that purpose, but it's kind of a fun item. I think it's kind of fun to me.
Sure. There's no reet, there's no multivitamins, like, it's fine.
Yeah. But then we get to go to Luke's yacht. So it's not a cruise ship, it's a yacht.
Bougie.
And we have Rainbow take us there. So instead of there being, like, multiple hippocampi? Yeah, I couldn't remember what the plural was.
Hippocampuses. I want a hippocampuses for Christmas.
And, like, Rainbow's fine. The CGI is a little
chopped.
2013.
But I like the illustration of it. Because I've always in my head had a hard time imagining that. And so, like, to still see it as, like, a four-legged, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes more sense.
It was nice
because,
to
like,
see, yeah.
especially with like the chimera and things like that. You explain the chimera to me, and I'm like, oh, bro, I don't know where.
Oh yeah, I don't know what any of these monsters look like.
When you show it to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, no, that
Yeah.
makes sense. But you're like a face of a blah, and a body of a blah, and the legs of, and the right pinky toe of Paris Hilton, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all just a lot of things together. Okay, so Luke's yacht, the Andromeda. They get on and they start like eavesdropping, and Annabeth's like, oh, that's Chris Rodriguez, Ethan Nakamura, and Selena Beauregard.
No.
Not mine.
Okay, I don't think there was any reason to name Chris again, number one, because we already know Chris is working for Luke. Ethan, okay, sure, fine. You can include him, because he becomes pretty important in Luke's army, and like, I guess if you're not gonna do the Battle of the Labyrinth correctly, like, we don't have to meet Ethan, then that's fine, whatever. But Selena?
Hell no.
That is so disrespectful to her character. Like, I know she was giving Luke information, but like,
She turns it around.
to just have her on his team? No.
Yeah,
No. Absolutely not.
She was being blackmailed. She wasn't like,
Right.
let's have nectar shots on the Andromeda.
Justice for Selena.
I do really like that they brought in the orcs from Lord of the Rings though for the scene.
Oh gosh.
What were they supposed to be?
I don't know. I mean, Luke does have his two like half bear guys. I guess that's who they were supposed to be. I can't remember their names, but like he's got those
The two bear guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember their names either. I'm sorry.
Agrius and Orius or something, I think.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, that might be totally wrong, and that might be two
Sorry.
other vaguely
No, you're close.
bear guys.
You gotta be close.
It's something. Also, as soon as Luke sees Annabeth, when he like looks her up and down and is like, "It's been a long time. You look good." I wanted to crawl through the screen and kill him. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I need to get the fleece because I have something that I need to revive, and it's not a tree." But the problem is, Luke also wants the tree revived. Like, he wants to bring back Thalia. They've taken away everything that makes Luke a good villain. They've, like, just made him evil. But the thing that makes Luke good is that, like, he has this complexity and this humanity to him. They've taken all the humanity and just thrown it away.
Like, you, like, doofenshmirched the guy. Like, he's just evil.
He does care about saving Thalia's tree. He really, really does.
The point of a good villain is that you watch it and you go, oh no, he's right. Like,
oh my gosh.
Like,
yeah.
Killmonger. You're supposed to watch Black Panther and be like, Killmonger is right.
He's making points, but also
the execution is wrong.
Could be better,
but he's right. That's a good villain.
And, like, that's what I think Luke is, but not Movie Luke. Movie Luke is just making cartoonishly evil choices, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Though it did make me laugh that he was like, he shows them, you know, his golden coffin, which, okay. And he's like, I had to crawl through the depths of Tartarus itself, and then Cleveland.
I get the joke, but we're not taking this seriously enough.
Also, this man couldn't handle Tartarus or Cleveland.
Cleveland's not that bad, okay?
It's Ohio.
I'm telling you, Pittsburgh, worse.
Cleveland is probably fine. Sorry if you're from Cleveland.
Pittsburgh is worse. You ever tried driving in Pittsburgh? It's a nightmare. They're all crazy.
Pittsburgh has Dr. Robbie.
Yeah, don't talk to Camille about Pittsburgh.
The streets are not big enough for cars. I'm sorry. They're not wide enough. It's a nightmare.
Okay.
This is where my notes stop, by the way.
Okay, so then we end up in the brig of the yacht. And I love that Percy's like, I told you there's a brig. Yeah. Oh, what a guy.
Anything for a joke.
I will say, him and Annabeth sitting like back to back through the bars, like, that's very Percy and Annabeth. That was correct. And then, so like Percy does his water magic to like knock their stuff off the wall so that Annabeth can get her backpack and get the tape out and like get them out. But as he's like making the boat shake, it like pans up to Luke, who is playing chess against himself, it appears. So there's that. And then they use the tape to get out of the brig or whatever, and then we have like our fight on the boat.
Oh my god, and then we have Mal's favorite line.
It's really not even my favorite line. It's just so Percy gets out of the boat, and I guess it's going to be controversial because I posted a picture of me like watching this movie on my Instagram story with this line because I know that it's
Mhm.
popular, and people were like, "Oh, it's the only good part of the movie. It's the only good part of the movie." It's not.
No.
It just became a meme.
It falls flat.
Like it's not even
Yeah.
it's not even good. So like Percy walks on, the roof of the yacht and Luke's like, "What are you doing? Don't walk on my roof."
And the thing is, God, like I said about like actors doing the best they can, is that Jake Abel is a great actor. But God, I just don't enjoy him in this at all.
He's just been given a very, I think, one-dimensional Luke.
Flat. They were like, play him like a baddie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no.
And it just like it doesn't
no.
hit. Yeah, so there's slashing and fighting and water powers and then they end up, on a lifeboat using the wind thermos to steer. Great. We also kind of have another like a weird heart to heart with Tyson. Nah, it's fine. At this point, like this again, you said this is where your notes stop. This is where the movie really loses me, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So there's like a moment where they're like, it's sharks, and then it's like, it's not sharks, it's teeth. Charybdis is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that.
Until we're inside of her.
Yes, until we are inside of her, and it looks like we're in a tent. Like a very big tent, but a tent. I did think that the line was kind of funny where they're like, that sounds like Clarice. It's probably not her. And then from a distance you hear, you ridiculously stupid morons. Yep, it's her.
Yep, that's her.
Good.
That is a great line. That's a good
one.
Yeah.
And so then we get on Clarice's Confederate ship. And like, okay, not to defend the Confederate warship, but
hey, whoa! I'm the Southerner here, okay?
I sort of am a Southerner. I spent 22 years of my life in Texas. They've clearly been punished, for losing the war. So this is not like a happy end for them. It's not like we're glorifying like the Confederate army, I guess. But it also it is a little
like, why do they have lines? He gets to speak?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Why does he get to be kind of funny, like a funny little zombie guy?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. They go to escape Charybdis, and they're like, we're gonna launch a cannon at the walls and make a hole, and then we're gonna go through it in our not a submarine, just a regular ship.
Like, appendectomy, go!
And then, as they're doing this, the way that Annabeth does her, like, good luck, Percy.
There are too many hugs in this movie, by the way. They hug way too much. She does not like him that much.
Well, I don't think it's not that she doesn't like him that much, because I do think at this point they really like each other.
Oh, she has a crush.
They really care about each other, but she is not about to show that. Oh, my God, she's not going to show him that she cares about him. They're 13.
Annabeth is so me, and that, like, if I like someone, even now as a 30-year-old woman, if I like someone, I'm like, oh, yeah, you're so short.
Yes.
You're a tiny man.
That's Annabeth. Like,
when they're not.
She's like, I cannot be nice to this man. Okay, so the other thing that I take issue with here, I guess I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of things I take issue with here, but another thing that I take issue with is the fact that, like, Percy and Clarice are the ones kind of in charge here, and Annabeth, like, goes off with Grover and the zombies. Like, Annabeth Chase would never. She would want to be in the thick of things. She would want to be in the action. It wouldn't be like a good luck, Percy. It would be a, you two are going to screw this up, so I'm going to be there too. It's just wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's Annabeth Chase.
Why does Percy have more chemistry with Clarice in this movie than he does with Annabeth? He works with Clarice far better than he does with Annabeth. He has more interesting banter with Clarice than he does with Annabeth. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then, okay, we get to Cersei Land. And like you said, we're combining Cersei's Island and Polyphemus' Island, which doesn't feel like it needed to happen. Just write Cersei out. Like, I love Cersei's Island. I think it's a very important character moment for Annabeth and Percy. Same with the sirens, but you already got rid of the sirens, so you might as well just get rid of Cersei as well. Like, you didn't... Why is it an amusement park? I have questions. Like, it's supposed to be this beautiful, natural island because of the fleece.
This island sucks.
Also, when they walk up, Clarice is the one to go, "Oh, this must be the boulder that Polyphemus used to trap Odysseus when he was returning from the Trojan War." Yeah, I know stuff. If you're gonna have someone give
Girl, shut up.
if you're gonna have someone give, like, silly little fun facts like that, like, that's Annabeth's job.
Okay, that, and then also,
Mhm.
what is it that our friends at Seaweed Brain love to say? Is that that's Schrodinger's cat? It's like you don't bring it up for no reason. When you bring it up, it's because it's gonna come back later. Because that's what they use it to trap him later.
I thought isn't Schrodinger's cat the cat is either dead or it's not?
The cat is both dead and alive.
It's the wrong analogy there.
You don't mention something unless it's going
It's
to
like
come back.
I think Chekhov's gun is the one where, like, you
Yeah,
don't
yeah, I'm
introduce a
sorry.
gun unless you're gonna fire it
It's
later.
a dude. Listen. It's a white man something, okay? It's all the same to me. Schrodinger's gun. I'm so sorry. I'm surrounded by cats.
No, that's why I was confused. I was like, I don't know if it's the cat one. Yeah, no. But yes, I'm with you. Yeah. Yeah, you don't just randomly bring up the boulder unless it's going to be important.
Yeah.
Also, we have, like, completely done away with the Odyssey parallels, which is, like, what makes this book good to me. Like, that's the part of this book that I think is really fun.
That's the beauty of Rick Riordan's writing, is that when you get deep into it, you realize that it is retellings of myths for children, but it is not claiming to be the myth. It is directly referencing the fact that it is inspired by a myth and then retelling it in a way that is relevant to now, which is what the myths are used for. That is what they're supposed to be. We have all these different, different religions tell the same story in different ways. And these stories, like, the gist of it is the same, but it adapts to what modern day needs to hear. And that's the beauty of Percy Jackson, and that's the beauty of Rick Riordan's writing. And so to completely abandon that is to completely abandon the heart and soul of Rick Riordan's writings. Because I think that to be deep about it, I think that the core of Rick Riordan and everything he's ever written is to make kids feel understood, represented, and to help them work through things, which is very true to the fact that he is a school teacher, or was a school teacher. And so I think that is very truly the heart and soul of what he does.
And that's very much missing here.
And so to take his intellectual property and to adapt it like this is really appalling. It's really upsetting. I think that's why we love to hate this movie so much. To completely abandon the heart and soul of the intellectual property is really shameful and really disappointing. It is emotionally exhausting to put words to that.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to just be like, that was a terrible movie, rather than actually examine, like, why it was a bad movie.
Right. Because I think the more you examine it, the more you just kind of want to cry. At least for me, I kind of want to just be like, oh, you took something I loved so much and really ruined it.
However, on a happier note, Grover's stupid little googly eye disguise gets me every time. I always think it's a little funny. Every time I see it, I'm like, heh, that's silly. I do think in the original book, as well as in the movie, Grover in the wedding dress does play into a little bit the, like, haha, it's funny when you have a man in a dress. And that feels like something that, we have, as a society, we have progressed past the need to do that and to, like, laugh at that. So it felt very, like, I didn't love the way that we were, like, making fun of Grover for having on this dress. I think you can like make fun of him for being, like, overdressed for the situation or, like, something without being like, hee, it's funny because he has on a dress. 'Cause, like, men can wear dresses. It's fine, it's regular, it's normal. Also, this is the first time that I've realized that Annabeth doesn't have the invisibility hat. Because I was like, oh, they're not doing the nobody thing. Then I was like, oh, I guess they can't. Because Annabeth can't turn invisible because she doesn't have the hat.
And, like, the nobody joke is one of the best jokes of the entire book.
Yeah. Well, and because that's another straight from the Odyssey things. Like, it is fun to watch these kids, like, redo these myth stories in like a new and modern way. Like it's funny to bring up nobody because you know that it's going to get a reaction from Polyphemus, and like it's it's good, it's smart, and we're just not doing. Oh, also then Luke just straight up shoots Tyson and like kicks him off a cliff into the water.
You would do it for me, and I'm like, oh, stop saying that.
Yeah, because Tyson like jumps in front of Percy. Because oh my
god, this isn't some like early aughts melodramatic romance where a love interest dies. Like, please stop, okay?
And then we have a moment where they're all like tied up outside as Luke, because Luke ends up getting the fleece and like putting it on the coffin, and they're like tied up to a roller coaster outside, and Percy's like having this angsty moment where he's like, I never called Tyson my brother. Okay, why are we doing this?
Okay, you've known him for like 24 hours. That's okay.
Yeah, like you're allowed to take some time to, but also like we have a task at hand. And then he's having this angst journey, and then for some reason we start like taking a vote that like he's going to be the leader. And I'm like, why do we need a leader right now at this moment? Like why it just
I vote for the one whose quest it belongs to.
Also, Clarice would never vote for Percy to be the leader. Are you kidding me? Even when it's the right call. No.
At least not yet.
It's not good. It's not good. Like it feels out of place, and it's like the stakes really feel like they're not there because we keep like stopping and starting this like ending fight, you know? It's like, okay, we're facing Polyphemus, and then okay, we're going to stop, we're going to have this like angsty moment, and then we're going to like do our next thing, and then we're going to like it's weird. And like I guess speaking of our next fight, we're really just raising Kronos in the second book.
Yellow!
Maybe this is the alternate universe where Luke does get the fleece and uses it to...
But this is the funny thing is that like we haven't even introduced Kronos as like a
that
thing
is true.
Until the beginning of this movie, and now suddenly he's already back, and I'm like, oh good, the stakes. Okay.
I don't know, as I was watching like this fire demon Kronos rise from this coffin in pieces, I was thinking like, okay, so if Luke had in the second book been able to put the fleece on that coffin and like get Kronos to rise, what would have happened? Because like obviously what ends up happening when Kronos does rise is like Luke becomes Kronos, and so he's like using Luke's body. So like would Kronos have risen as like this big fire demon thing if Luke had the fleece, or would Kronos still have needed like a body? Like I'm just, how did we arrive at this?
Don't worry, he eated him.
This is the moment that made me laugh so hard I cried.
I don't know.
When Luke steps up and he's like, it's me, Luke, your great grandson, and then Kronos goes, my favorite, and eats him.
You're great. I knew you were gonna say this was the moment. It's so hard for me. There are so many moments where I just like, I want to turn it off, and this is the one where I'm like, I'm turning it off.
No, I had to pause it because I was laughing so hard, and like tears were streaming down my face because I have said probably since the first time I watched this movie that like, oh, my favorite part of this movie is when Kronos just straight up eats Luke. I did not remember the couple of lines that happened before it, and something about the like my favorite and then just eating him really tickled me. I could not stop laughing. I was like, what? Which like, I mean, I guess this is accurate to the Kronos lore because like he did eat his kids, but like
you're right. Oh my god, I never thought about that. Julie, what was your reaction to just like
all of it?
All of that.
I honestly couldn't believe my eyes for a second. I was like, did that like, am I hallucinating? Did they really just do that? And I was like, so I literally watched it again because I was like, I didn't sleep well last night. Like, am I okay? Like, I took some like ibuprofen like before bed. I was like, am I good?
Did I make that up?
You're like, I overdosed my ZQuil.
Yeah, and I was like, oh. Again, so many choices in this movie, and that was one that they definitely made.
Yeah. And also, like, the Chimera is there for some reason. Which...
because we left her out.
And then also we get into the prophecy a little bit, because Percy's like, oh, it's the cursed blade, Riptide. no. And then he does like this moment where he's like, you know who gave me this sword? The guy who killed you with it in the first place. Huh?
Who?
Poseidon was eaten. Like, Zeus killed Kronos with his own scythe. Riptide had nothing to do with it. You're just like rewriting the myth.
Oh, nice job, Mark. Yeah, the name Guggenheim. You can do whatever the hell you want, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, also, I should have mentioned this when we brought up the prophecy the first time, but they changed from hero's soul shall reap to evil soul shall reap.
Oh.
Cursed blade, evil soul shall reap.
Oh, God. You know what? If it hadn't been done in 2013, I would say that AI wrote this. But then again, I think AI might have done a better job.
Honestly, maybe. It's very interesting that we're like using pieces of this prophecy and we're like, oh, it's the prophecy. Like, here's the cursed blade. Oh, we're reaping an evil soul. But like, the world is not in endless sleep. Percy is not 20. So like why even introduce this prophecy if you're not going to solve it at the end, you know? Like, why even bring it back up during your final fight if this is not the solving of your final prophecy, you know?
Can we talk about how Percy gets crushed in Cronus's hand and Annabeth is like, no! And I'm like, girl, he's fine.
We can, but I don't want to.
We can,
Yeah.
but may you?
Yeah, no, it's just like terrible.
But may you?
Also, at some point in this fight, I guess Kronos also ate Grover. I missed that.
What?
I think because when
Did he?
Percy like stabs
I
Kronos,
swear to God, I
both
wasn't paying
like
attention.
Grover like reappears and Luke also reappears. And so I was like, wait, did he eat Grover too?
What about the mango chutney?
And then Luke like ends up with Polyphemus, and Polyphemus is like, oh, it's a half-blood, so like, R.I.P. King. Luke's about to get eaten for a second time in this movie.
They're like, oh, we're not getting a third movie, it's fine.
God. And then Annabeth gets like very dramatically stabbed with the Chimera's tail. She's like, Percy, you did it! And then she like gets stabbed and dies. Like, we just kill Annabeth. And honestly, I have to say, I didn't care at all. I didn't care at all that we had killed Annabeth because movie Annabeth sucks. And that's coming from me, the #1 Annabeth Chase defender. I was like, oh, okay, she's dying now.
This is what I imagine. Now, I'm not a horror fan, and I don't like horror movies at all. I imagine this is how horror fans watch slasher films, and they're like, ah ha ha ha, they died. And this is...
And like, okay, and I mean, I guess I understand why they did it, because you need to establish that, like, okay, the fleece can, in fact, bring people back from the dead. Sure. Fine.
But also, like, you could have saved Tyson for that.
That is true. You could have saved Tyson, who was also dying. You also could just... You could just do what they did in the book. Like, Annabeth was just injured, and you used the fleece to heal it. Like...
And then we have that really sweet moment of Percy, like, holding
and telling her
onto
she's a genius?
with the fleece. And telling her she's a genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good.
It, like...
so good. God, it was, like, so important to me as a
Yeah.
15-year-old reading that. Like,
Also, now that I think about it, you don't need to establish that the fleece can bring people back from the dead, because that's supposed to be, like, a huge reveal.
yeah.
That's supposed to be a huge twist.
Right. It worked its magic too well.
So, to establish that, like, the fleece can heal people,
Yes.
that's fine, because you're like, oh, good, the fleece
But to bring them
can
back,
do, like, it can heal the tree.
Yes.
It can heal the tree. But to like, bring Annabeth back from the dead, like, now you've established that, and now it's like, okay, so we can expect that Thalia's gonna come out of the tree. You know? No. Also, like, Clarice is way too nice to Percy at the end.
Oh my God, why does she look so... Why is she crying about Annabeth? Be so for real right now. She was not crying.
No.
She does not care. She's like, oh, this sucks. Oh well.
Yeah, at this
Goodbye.
point, no. I do
No.
think by the end, because, like, Clarice...
By, like, Heroes of Olympus, Clarice would care.
Well, and Clarice, like,
but-
cries for Selena, so it's not that, like,
Yeah.
Clarice doesn't feel emotions, you know? But like,
Yeah.
at this point, she doesn't care about Annabeth that much.
Right.
I would think that she really started to care about Annabeth when they started working together on the labyrinth.
And yeah.
But yeah, at this point, she doesn't care about Annabeth like that.
Oh my god, it's almost over, you guys.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, cuz then we get like well, you're not 20 yet, so like I guess that wasn't the prophecy. But why did the oracle start with like it begins with when two cousins grapple for a fleet? Like, if you weren't going to solve
I'm like, bitch, it began a year ago, way before the
yeah,
fleece.
like this is not the
it's
beginning.
fine.
Like, if you want to say
Sure.
that the beginning is the lightning thief being, or the lightning being stolen, like, okay, fine. But it's like, it's weird to say that that's the start, and then it's like, it's weird to tie it to this great prophecy. Like, I just and then we get like Grover coming in and doing the like, Annabeth was guarding the tree and something happened. Okay, like, I know you want to.
Annabeth was guarding the tree, but also, like, her shirt, she hasn't changed clothes.
Yes.
She still has holes
Yes.
in her clothing.
And also, the thing that got me is like, her mascara is running down her face. And I was like, Annabeth Chase does not have on makeup like that when she is fresh back from a quest.
And if she did, it would be waterproof.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, if she's gonna have on makeup, it's gonna be waterproof. Also, because if she didn't have time to change her shirt, she didn't have time to reapply her makeup.
You're telling me Annabeth Chase, girlfriend of Percy Jackson, doesn't wear waterproof makeup?
Yeah, he's literally the water guy.
He's water boy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And then, we get Thalia back for some reason. I really don't understand the point of bringing her back when you're not going to make a third movie, but okay. And he gets kind of like a, well, maybe Thalia's going to be the one that destroys us all, which
It's like, oh, don't worry, guys, it's not me.
which I'm like, okay. Percy has such a crash out about that. Are you kidding me? Because he spends 2 books being like, I don't want to be special. I don't want to be the chosen one. And then the second it might be someone else, he's so pissed.
He is pissed, but here's the thing about Percy, is that it's not because he wants to be special. It's because he doesn't want it to land on his friends. He wants to take that burden and just accept the burden as his own because he can do it. He can handle it. Like, and we first see it in his interactions with his mother, in that he struggles so much with this idea that his mother is the adult. And in the very end of The Lightning Thief, she has this moment where she's like, hey, this choice isn't yours, it's mine. So I need you to back up because you're a child. And we constantly see the struggle of Percy being the one. He wants to be the one to make the hard decisions, to be the sacrifice. Like, he really is a good, loyal friend. And that is what Athena hates so much about him, is that he would rather save a friend than the world, right? It doesn't make sense. It's not logistical. Like, it's emotional.
Yeah.
That is Percy. It's not wise. It's not strategic. He just wants to save his friends. And so to think that Percy would be like, haha, maybe it's her, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe in jest, sure, but like in actuality, no. Not accurate.
And I think that can describe the entire movie. Not accurate. Like,
you're welcome.
Nothing about this is correct.
What can I say?
Except not accurate.
Except F failed.
Yeah, no, it's like,
what can I say? Except you forgot to carry Madame Zeroni up the mountain, and now you and your family will be cursed for always and eternity.
I just that was a movie that we all watched for another time. Probably my last time I will ever be consuming that movie, because oh boy, did it make me mad. Any final thoughts?
That happened.
It was a film. To be honest, way more enjoyable making fun of it and talking about it with you two than actually watching it.
Yes.
I was like, because at first I was like, oh my god, like, I don't even want to record an episode about this movie. Like, it was so bad. But, no, this was good. I enjoyed this. And I cannot wait to never think about the Sea of Monsters movie ever again.
Same, bestie.
That feels like a great note to end on. Well, Camille, thanks for joining us in our suffering.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for making me.
Yeah. You want to tell the people where to find you?
Yeah. You can find me at Prisseus Jackson, which is Prisseus Jackson on Instagram and Threads. I haven't been posting as much there during the Percy Jackson drought, but you can also find me at the Pit Details, PITT Details on Instagram. Mal and I are actually starting a podcast very shortly. Yeah, we are. Called The Pit Crew, which again is PITT. If you've been watching HBO Max's The Pit, you can join us there. We are going to be discussing any and everything with the wonderful damn meme page,
Yes.
Robert.
What
So
an
you can
icon.
join us there.
An icon who will be listening to this episode. Hey, Robert.
Yeah. Why weren't you here, Robert?
Yeah, you ditched us for book club? Okay.
Ew. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Yes. Well, we were so glad to have you. Like Julie said, talking about it is a whole lot more fun than watching it.
Therapy, baby. Talking about it with your therapist and drawing while you talk is always more fun than living the trauma.
So true.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, see you both later.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi. You can find us on social media at @DemigodDebutPod. You can also find links to all of our socials as well as Camille's in the episode description. If you enjoy consuming this podcast, consider leaving us a rating or review wherever you're listening. Due to forces beyond our control, aka jobs, our first Heroes of Olympus episode will be out in 2 weeks rather than next week. See you then. Bye!